Hello, everybody. My name is Derek, and I decided to entitle this video a very depressing video, and for good reason. Good reason. You're looking at a chart on the screen now. It's a depressing stock. More to that in a little bit. But I recently did a video that was about the Great Depression, how we never left it, how we're still in that depression and we're at the point where we can get out of it. And I will explain in this video ways of getting out of depressions that I think are effective. After all, it is a depressing time. You're listening to me now on this microphone that's crackly, and it's a depressing sound as it's intended to. Now, if I can make it a nice, amazing sound, I would, but I can't. It's like that song. I would if I could, but I can't, so I won't. That is to say that this microphone that I'm using, it's a cheap microphone. I'm going to be looking into getting a new one very soon. And well, the video camera that I used before to make MP3s, well, I replaced it because the picture quality was so bad, and well, now the sound is so bad on it. I can't even handle listening to it. That well, I got to return it again. You ever hear on Zeitgeist where they build things not to last and they'll break down and such? Well, is that not a depressing society? Well, my point of view would say yes. And well, until I get the audio cleared up, this might be my last video for a little while. Nonetheless, let's talk about this depressing stock. It's so depressing that I did not put a name on it. I do not have the price on it, but I do have the movements of the stock and its time frames. I looked at different stocks, currencies, forexes, comexes, whatever I could find that had chart action that was just so depressing. And well, this one was the most depressing stock I could find. It's breaking down so much so. If you were an owner of this stock, how are you still in it? Either it's going to scare you out or wear you out. If you would have been bought in here, you're destroyed. You're literally destroyed if you bought that stock in there, and you still have it. Some still do. That's the scary part is that some still do. Let's take a look at this on a 3-day chart. This is a 9-day chart. Let's take a look at the 3-day chart and well, what can I say? It's doing the same sort of deal, and well, look at what happens every time it sells off really big. Every time it sells off, it has a little rally, like so many stocks do. They call those dead cat bounces, actually. And sometimes a dead cat bounce may get very serious. Look at the dollar index right now. How we've been rallying for a few months after a big sell off. That's like similar to this. I think the dollar rally is something like this potentially. Very volatile like this is. This is a very volatile stock. And what can I say? It broke down this trend line. And question is do you see the same sort of formation in here? You broke down, and then you had the dead cat bounce. I think the best way to look at this would be on the daily chart, the 1-day chart, which is this chart in here, going back to well before June. This is the all-time low right in here. There's the all-time low. And we see a head and shoulders pattern in here. And well, that's pretty dangerous. Most likely, the break of that head and shoulders pattern would make a new low. Obviously, if I had the prices, I could tell you. And well, we'll get to the gist of where this thing could go in a little bit. And have you figured what this chart happens to be? Have you guessed what it is? You're gonna figure it out very soon, however. But it's looking bad. It really is. So go back now to the chart over the last 10 years, and I think it would help to know that if CNBC is trying to say that this is a bottom, do they have good reason to say it? Well, in reality, if stocks get taken down really big, then the smartest money might be to buy near that bottom. And obviously, you have a case for it because it's sold off so much that it could be the bottom. Of course, there's no technical science for it. But I guess it would also help if you could see previous time frames. After all, this is the all-time high. This is not. Sorry, this is the all-time low, but this is not the all-time high. It's not. No. So what I'll do is I'll take a look at the 40-year chart for this fund. 40 years. It's not on freestockcharts.com, but I was able to make that chart on a spreadsheet, and well, here is the spreadsheet, and that would transform into this chart here. Yeah, it's pretty depressing. Like I said, I wanted to find the most depressing chart that I could possibly find. This one is it. This one is the most depressing chart. Almost as depressing as that crickly sound you're probably hearing right now. But I'm going to upload this one. This is about the 8th, 9th time I've did it. All of them have been really good. But the thing is you get the technology that is so bad, that's depressing. At some point you're like, well, what are you going to do about it? And, well, this rally might not have been so depressing, but the rally was small. It wasn't able to have the big gains. And from what I'm thinking is the move from here to here, as far as percentage logarithmic movements, would be similar to this. And yes, every chart on here is a logarithmic chart. Now the move from here to here was about 20 times its value. And to let you know, to go from here to here, it's got a long ways to go still to lose 20% of its value. So now, let's try to do some sort of technical indicators to see where it may go. And well, if you watched my silver video yesterday, I used some Fibonacci upside to figure out that the 32 levels coming in 50. How can you use Fibonacci on these charts? It's not an upside retracement, it's a downside. And I thought, you know what? Why don't you just reverse the chart and then do the upside? That may work well, and it may even help figure out what this chart happens to be if you haven't figured it out. If you think you know what it is, you're like, yep, I know it now. For sure you do. We'll flip it vertical. Question is, does this chart look familiar to you? It's an uptrend. Obviously, the opposite of a big bear market is a big bull market. Those uptrend or those downtrends that I was showing you before, well, now we can put uptrends in. Yay! Oh man, what does this chart happen to be? What? Oh, you should know it by now. If not, what we'll do is we'll reverse the other ones, like this one. We'll do another vertical switch. Does this look familiar? If this doesn't look familiar, then, well, switching this must. Yep, this chart is gold. This is the daily chart for gold. We had the big move to 1200. We're back. This is 1050. You know that 1100 area is right in here. Yeah, this is gold. This is the last few years on gold. Remember that inverted head and shoulders pattern? Haha. Well, you know what? Here it is. I said it looked like a funny head and shoulders pattern. Well, it looked actually like it didn't look like a funny inverted, but it did look like a funny invert, or looked like a funny head and shoulders. It looked like a standard inverted, although this high here might be the reason why. Nonetheless, we can take a look at this chart, and this is what gold has looked like over the last 20 years, 250 to 1200. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this chart again. If we reverse it, then what's going to happen is we're going to see the big move gold from the 70s, the stabilization through time with the bias to the downside, just like the other one was to the upside. So if on this chart we see a big move to the downside, that would give us a big move to the move to the upside on gold. And I mentioned 20 times its value within here. The reason for that was because the value of gold in here, $35 per ounce. It went up 20 times its value to about 700 per ounce. Therefore, this line in here, which is a very important trend line, is 250. This is 250. You take 250, multiply 20. That gets us 5,000 for a potential price target. I don't know. I'm just taking a calculated, educated guess or guesstimation to where gold may go to based on this synopsis. After all, if you switch charts over, it can give you another perspective to things. For this is very depressing. So, the secret to eliminating depression is to try to find a way to turn it around, especially if you can do a complete polarity reversal. Well, then you are really doing great. Then you can really turn around. And well, with this, it's easy. You just make a vertical flip, and there goes the depression. This is not depressing. This is not depressing, nor is this depressing. And I say that because if you've been shorting gold, well, you should be depressed for making such bad, bad bets. But are you depressed when you make the winning ones? After all, the opposite of depression, what is the word that's opposite of depression? Happy and sad, depressed and what? Euphoric? I think it's euphoric. I don't know. There's probably other words. Nonetheless, you see anything in life, you make the change. And I'm going to return the camera again after all, though it's still under warranty, and one of those days it's going to work. And I'm, like I said, I'm looking into getting a better microphone. I did read, however, that if you buy some good ones, that it can really affect a regular PC, regular laptop computer based on its sound settings. So if you know anything at all for different products in the 70 to 140, $150 range for microphones that work very, very well, that are not depressing, please let me know, especially within the system settings. I found some that work pretty well or look pretty well. And I just want to get some better audio quality settings on this channel. If you can let me know, thank you so much. And as far as these videos are concerned, we'll see how long it takes for me to get a new camera. After all, they said that the one I got before was the last one that they had. Maybe it's a good time to go now and I get a different brand. That's what the warranty talks about anyway. And this is a ramble, but thank you all for watching this video. It is the 7th of April, and have yourself a magnificent day. Bye-bye. Obviously, the name's not on here. The dollar amounts are not on here. But it's, once again, the path of least resistance is lower. If you times these moving averages by 3, you have a 150-day moving average. It's declining. A 300 and a 600-day moving average, all declining. So the second one, this is a daily chart. This is only going back to the summer of '09. And well, there's a head and shoulders pattern. I see it too. It's right in here. Well, it looks like this might be showing us that leg lower, because a breakdown of this support level right in here could give us a test of this level here. Well, obviously, if we break this level, this is all-time lows, by the way. These are all-time lows, that line that you are seeing, the lowest one. So every time we make new lows, we are doing that, new lows. I don't know how much lower this can go, but there's a saying that there's no such thing as up too much or down too much. Probably the case here. These are logarithmic charts. Every one of these charts. So when you look at a logarithmic and you use that type of math, there really is no such thing as up or down too much. But this head and shoulders pattern is very scary. I don't know if this is going to get any of these people who are trying to pick bottoms out. I really don't know. But it's a heavily traded stock too, or it's traded quite frequently. A lot of people, or a lot of the banks are definitely the most heavy invested one in this. But you know what? That's like that with every stock, so that doesn't really say much. We're watching this most depressing stock, but I guess what this means in a polarity sense, that if the Going short on gold is very depressing. What does that mean for, I don't know, going long on gold? Have yourself a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.